Tonight on The Factor Uncensored, tragedy in France. Dozens are dead, including a father and son from Texas. We'll have the latest on the investigation. Bloodshed after a coup in Turkey. 17 police officers killed, and the government is scrambling to hold the country together. She posted a sign in her front yard that angered social media. It reads, "F the police," and it set social media on fire. That woman is here to face a cop who said she went too far. And an honest, open conversation with a group of white Americans about their feelings involving the recent cop shootings in this country. That and more on The Factor Uncensored.
He doesn't take BS from anybody, and he's always looking out for you. He's Isiah, and this is The Factor Uncensored.
And welcome to the Isiah Factor Uncensored Friday night. We're here in our new home at Boudreaux's on 610 near the Galleria area, and we have a great show planned for you. But before we get to our guests and our entertainment topics, we're going to begin with the hard news. Angela Chin joins us now with the latest. Angela, what do you have?
All right, Isiah, I know usually we joke around at the top, we have some fun, but today, really serious news here. We start with a military coup happening in Turkey as we speak. Right now, this is going on. Gunfire in the capital of AWKARD. Now, the government claims that the coup has been suppressed, but we're looking at reports coming out, people posting videos. The fighting continues. In Ankara, Parliament speakers say a bomb hit one corner of a public relations building inside the Parliament complex, injuring some police officers. Now, he says there are no fatalities there. All legislators apparently safe at a parliamentary shelter, but we have heard that 17 police officers dead so far in one of the attacks. And meanwhile, in Istanbul, an official at the president's office say more than 50 military officers have been arrested. One hospital in Istanbul says it's admitted at least 150 wounded. Now, some insight, Isiah, I was talking to you earlier, a lot of Turkish people upset with the president, and maybe this is, this is part of the reason that this happened, this military coup. We were talking about them, the president punishing people for freedom of expression, the president forcing religion on public life. I mean,
and absolutely, I was just here in Houston at the Turkish Center in Houston, and they were very upset with the leadership there, saying they don't feel secure in their company, and they want the president to do more.
Right, and that's
so
one
with
of the
them
reasons.
Pushing religion on them and not providing the security they need, people will be upset in that country.
Something's going to happen. Of course, they blame the president for that rise of ISIS too, because you go through Turkey to get to Syria. So that's what's happening in Turkey. Up to the north, over to the west, France, 84 people dead, more than 200 injured after a truck ran into a crowded celebration at the French Riviera. Now, of course, U.S. showing support for them as France did for us after 9/11. The president has ordered flags at half-staff. Of course, a day after the attack, the attacker, he's been identified as 31-year-old Mohamed Boulil, a delivery man who was born in North Africa, lived in France. And here's the thing, French intelligence had no idea this guy even existed. He was not on their radar. They had no idea that he was a risk of any sort. Now, he was shot dead at the scene, and they found 2 automatic weapons, ammunition, cell phone documents inside his truck, more potential evidence at his home in East in the world. Of course, reacting to this, heads of state condemning the attack as President Obama has. Of course, we have no claims of responsibility at this time, and his suspect, the suspect's wife is in custody, so they are questioning her.
Now, there have been ongoing problems when it comes to intelligence in France, and people have complained about it. They've seen attack after attack, and so their intelligence division needs to get on top of it.
It's good, and a lot of them, there's a whole other conversation about Europe and how they perform their intelligence, but they rely on the U.S. a lot for a lot of their intelligence. I mean, we are one of the strongest, obviously, when it comes to that. Okay, I want to bring it back here to Houston. We have a story, came to Isiah, we looked into it. I'm going to let you decide this one. Who is in the right here? Now, there was a 4-alarm fire that tore through the Deerbrook Forest apartment complex last week. Those tenants, after that, had to find housing with Red Cross or on their own. Now, the complex said they released all the affected residents from their lease and refunded their money. Well, now these tenants, they're pissed off because the complex won't let them inside to get their things. They say the complex management has abandoned them, made them feel like criminals. Take a listen.
You've lost everything that you have, and for someone to tell you that the little mementos, that the things that your grandparents or great-grandparents, it doesn't matter to them, and that may be everything to you, and they don't seem to notice that because it's not them, and they don't seem to care.
Okay, those are the tenants, what they have to say. Here's the Deerbrook Forest Apartments, their side of things. They said they couldn't let the tenants back in because of safety concerns. Obviously, the building's in bad condition. You see it, no trespassing signs, boarded up windows, 24-hour security. Well, of course, they had an insurance investigation conducted, and after all the damage, today was the first day tenants whose apartments had the least damage were able to get back inside after they signed a liability waiver. Now, the apartment complex said their insurance provider said several apartments still had high safety risks, and so they couldn't let those residents back inside. And they did say, we feel for those residents not allowed access, but their safety is our #1 priority. Here's part about what they had to say as well. Regrettably, several of the former residents whose units were deemed inaccessible have continued to come back daily in an attempt to negotiate their way in, causing a disturbance to other residents and a nuisance to owners' representatives. They did tell us by law they have been asked to leave the property for the rest of the day. So that's sort of their defense, you know.
Treat your former tenants.
Yeah, and that's what they say. They feel abandoned. You know, our stuff's in there. She was saying my grandmother, my mementos are in there. You know, it means a lot to me. But, you know, of course, they couldn't go back in.
And of course, there was a dismal fire marshal's report and what they found there.
Yes, we have to talk about this report. So we looked at the report. Not so good. Doesn't look for the apartment complex. They said, let's see, per the Texas Apartment Association, the property isn't responsible for any of the damages caused by the fire loss with the renter's insurance for. But they also said, did you get a chance to look at this report?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they said that this was an accident due to welding. And so because of that, if you look higher in the report, a management executive tells the fire marshal she didn't know whether the workers were licensed or bonded, and she couldn't give him an answer when asked whether there was no paperwork.
All right.
They
Thanks a lot, Angela. Yeah. Out of town, you're passionate about this. We need to look into this Monday.
We're going to follow up.
Now, when we come back, it was a controversial story that was hot on the internet. A woman put a sign in her front yard, and it angered some Houstonians. It angered some police officers. Here's a look at that sign. In a tense climate in America where civilians and cops are being killed on the streets, this is the last thing you expect to see in Sunnyside. A big bold sign that reads, F the police. What makes you so bold to put a sign out like this?
Because I'm unapologetically black, and I'm not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. And until y'all decide that y'all want to stop killing us, we're not going to be quiet.
27-year-old VANETTA says she proudly posted the sign at her home on a major thoroughfare in southeast Houston. It's where there is a constant flow of traffic, lots of eyes on that sign. A sign, when flipped to the back, says Black power and black men are kings, and not the N-word or thugs. Do you think that sign will make your relationship or the community's relationship better with them if you say the police?
I mean, I'm bold enough to say it and mean it, and I'm willing to deal with whatever coincidence or consequences that comes my way. Everybody else is thinking it, but they may not want to say it, but I really don't care.
And we're here live with VANETTA Skinner, the young lady who put the sign in her front yard. Also, we are here with Captain Smokey Phillips of the Afro-American Deputies League. Now, after that story aired about 2 days ago, you took a beating on social media, but there were also people who supported you. Now tell us, after that story aired, what kind of response did you get, and have you changed your mind about putting a sign like that in your front yard?
Well, first of all, I want to say that my sign is what I painted to put in my yard because of how I felt, and I'm speaking for myself. With that being said, I feel even more so that way now, because now the police officers are riding in front of my house for the sole purpose to intimidate me. And they're shining their lights in front of my house. And, you know, it's social media. People have posted my address, and I'm still prepared. I mean, my question is, why? Or I would have had more respect for you whether you just knocked on my door and said, you know, black man to black woman, I was riding by and I saw your sign, and, you know, I just wanted to ask you about it. But you decided to run and tell the news. This is one of the main reasons why the community does not trust police officers in the first place.
Now, one of the things he's going to say, VANETTA, is that complaints came from people in the community. Right. And they approached you. Right. Tell me about that, Smokey, Captain Smokey Phillips.
We were approached by people in the community that were very offensive about the sign being in her yard.
In Sunnyside?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Of course, they came to our office and made a complaint that they were very offended that she would put this type of sign in their neighborhood. because we're in the process of bridging the gap between the police and the community, and people on her street, her neighbors, were complaining about the sign that was in her yard.
As a police officer, a member of law enforcement, a deputy constable, how does that leave you feeling seeing that sign?
Well, I've been around a long time, Isaiah, 30 plus years, and signs like that don't offend me, but the guys who work on the streets every day, if this young lady called 911,
it would take them 2 hours to get to my house.
The police came where there was a suspect in her house. The
I would
officer,
get
whether
shot
black,
too.
white, or brown, would see that sign. He can't turn away and say, hey, F the citizen. He has the duty to go and save her life, go ahead and put her out of harm's way, regardless of the sign or not. So all I'm saying is that there's a lot of good black officers out in the community. There's a lot of good white officers, a lot of good Hispanic officers. And I know I see them, I work with them every day.
Let's get VANETTA in now. When you and I talked the day of the interview, and one of the things we talked about, and you agree that there were good officers out there.
And the good officers know who the bad officers are, and they need to say something. Because I'm pretty sure you know that out of that uniform, you're just another N-word to them. You're just another black man. You're just, when out of that uniform, when you're not a blue life, you go back to being a black life. And that's what y'all fail to realize. Blue lives matter. You're blue 8 to 10 hours out of your day. I'm black 24/7, 365. And you're and people, but I don't need to know the history.
I'm black for 55 years. I've endured racism. Okay. I've endured disparity in treatment, and I've endured discriminatory actions by law enforcement.
I have a question.
But at the end of the day, I am sworn to uphold the law. I'm sworn to protect this lady. Officers in Dallas shielded people from bullets with their lives. All around the nation, officers serve to protect citizens. And where there's a sign that's saying, where there's a sign saying, F the police, we can't say F the citizens. We have a duty to respond.
But do I have the right to freedom of speech to put what I want in my yard, on my property that I own? And let's talk about that people are upset over 3 painted words on a piece of board. 3 words that are painted.
But words come with power, you know that.
I know, and that's why we're here. But where are these people when people are getting killed? Where are they? Are they complaining about that? Are they supporting black businesses taking money out of the people that are killing us pocket? Are they doing that? Or are they just, oh, this sign made me mad? So, and why didn't you come to my door? Like, you could have came and talked to me. You could have came and knocked on my door.
I had no legal right to come to your door, ma'am.
I'm not.
Thank
Police
you guys.
do a
We're
lot
out
of
of
stuff they don't
time.
have
We want to
legal
thank you
right
for
to
coming
do.
on, and we want to thank you for coming on, Captain Smokey Phillips as well. We will be back with more Isiah Factor Uncensored in just a moment. We will continue with a roundtable discussion. I call it my White People Town Hall meeting in just a moment. Stay with us.
She come to get me.
And welcome back to the Isiah Factor Uncensored. Now we have 3 individuals who are joining us, and I was very honest with these guys. I said, let's have a White People's Town Hall meeting on the Isiah Factor Uncensored. I know all of these guys. I've interviewed Charles. I've interviewed John Griffing, who is a conservative here in town. I have your title, John. He is the associate editor with the Daily Caller and former executive director of the Harris County Republican Party. Also, we have with us Sue Ann Pereri. I met you 12 years ago while doing a story in Sharpstown. Yeah. Now, Charles Adams, you're a host of a local talk show, also a former police officer and a lawyer. Yes. Now, my question, when we look at the shootings here in America, involving African Americans, involving police officers. When African Americans look at those shootings, they see one thing. When some whites look at those shootings, they see another thing. Why is that? Why do we have one people but 2 separate Americas in what we see and what we view when it comes to police officers shooting individuals here in this country? Charles, let's start with you.
Well, I think Roland Fryer, Harvard, an African American economics professor at Harvard, my alma mater, just released a study that actually refuted that African Americans are shot more often than white Americans.
That's not my question. My question
I
is,
understand.
yeah.
But what he also found is that there are more negative police interactions than African Americans. And then the reality is we need to get post-racial, we need to treat everybody better. And there is an issue with how everyday officers interact with African Americans. And for white America to say it doesn't exist is a fallacy, because everything shows that it exists. Then we look at what's the solution. And the solution isn't more racial rhetoric on either side. The solution is finding how we can have more transparency, how we can have more accountability. You know, I still don't know why we haven't seen Philando's, the body cams associated, or dashboard cam and audio from Philando. I still don't know why we haven't seen the body cams, even if they fell off for Alton. They're either going to exonerate the officer or identify the problem. The fact that North Carolina has just tried to make it illegal for the press to obtain body cam footage is insane. The government needs to be more transparent, and that's how we solve all these issues.
John?
I think to your point, people in the white community see what's going on in America differently because we see all the progress that has happened in the last 30 to 40 years. We see the end of racial barriers in so many contexts. We see more opportunity for more people, irrespective of their skin color. So when someone of my background, for example, is looking at the escalating violence, the escalating racial tension, we feel it's a tragedy because of how much progress has been made. So the focus needs to be shifted back onto what's being done right, and we can always fix the things and improve upon the things that need improvement. But let's look at what we've accomplished, and let's improve on our failings.
Sue-Ann Perry?
Well, for me, it kind of hits personal being that we're here today, because it has been in my life. 21 years ago today, Travis O'Neal Allen was shot and killed while laying on his stomach with a police officer's foot on his back twice through the spine. He was white, the officer was white. The bottom line is we're all humans, we're all gonna make mistakes. And until they step up and admit their mistakes, and the quietness of the police protecting each other is opened up, there's not going to be any knowledge in any of this.
Now, one of the things I hear, we're all on the same page right here. But when you get on social media and you have an African American who is shot and killed, you get a totally different opinion and voice from some white Americans. So what's the difference between social media and us sitting right here? Well, is it face to face?
I will tell you, I disagree with this man's position when he decides he's going to speak for white America as a whole. That's my whole issue, is that we need to get post-racial in all of our conversations. He needs to stop saying, well, white people this and this, and people are white. But right, I understand, but you need to reject that presumption. We have to get to the point where we're all responsible for our own ideologies, we're all responsible for our own biases, we're all responsible for us. And, you know, and I was telling you last week, me and Mike Dean, Kanye West producer, and Zero had this wonderful discussion in New York over what the solutions are on Thursday before Dallas. They left to go to the studio that night, and Zero dropped a song that is so militant and so intense. Although it's a great song, it's much stronger than the rhetoric when all three of us are sitting around a table eating and trying to talk about solutions.
So when we walk away from that table, right, our opinions and our voices change.
I don't know, but like with Zero, I think he's a genius. And music isn't always reality, but I think we've all got to get to the point where we're all, you know, there was an article written by a local reporter about how white people need to be quiet and not discourse about this. That's absurd. We all need a discourse. We all need to talk. And we all need to, and it was a white reporter, it's crazy. Exactly. But we all need to be civilly disagree. Like I can say I disagree with this gentleman.
But John, go ahead.
Here's the issue. We have achieved a post-racial society, and some people don't want to admit that. You ask me a question a certain way, I answer a certain way. Here's what happens on social media. Social media is an unchecked, unfiltered, instantaneous form of communication that eliminates people's ability to think twice before they talk or express an opinion. And because of that no-filter environment we've started to see rise in America, you're going to see opinions online differ from opinions voiced in forums or venues like this one.
All right. Thank you, guys. Sue-Ann Perry, John Griffing, Charles Adams. What time are you on tomorrow?
Tomorrow at 11.
All right.
On 950. Thanks.
950. Thank you. Big Angry. We'll be back with more Isiah Factor Uncensored in just a moment. Standing in the wings, troublemaker Angela Box. We'll be back. And welcome back to the Isiah Factor Uncensored. Once again, we're in our new location at Boudreaux's on 610 near the Galleria, and we're kind of chilly. Are you cold or are you still hot?
No, because my hair is still a mess, so I am not.
That's
cold.
the humidity. That's from outside.
It is
right?
the humidity. But I do like, well, yes, very nice being at Boudreaux's.
Are you going to eat here too?
I don't eat after 6 o'clock.
Okay.
It's kind of a rule.
And I'm sucking up your time. Go ahead. What do you have for us this week?
You know, I have to say, Black Lives Matter, we need to have a family meeting. We need to talk. The 4 worst words in the English language. Look, guys, I'm not saying you're personally responsible for the murders of 5 police officers last week in Dallas. But, you know, Black Lives Matter have invented and ignored facts that have been going on in racial situations in this country. Here are some facts. Your facts that black men are killed by police more than white men is false. Over 50% of people killed by police are white, which I suppose we're supposed to celebrate. The number of blacks is less than half that number. Furthermore, upwards of 80% of all police shootings are involved with people that have either gone after police in some manner, either with a gun or attacked police in some manner. But Black Lives Matter screech, we're only 12% of the population, and we are incarcerated, stopped, and pulled over more than any other ethnic group. Well, here's the sad thing. Yes, because over 2/3 of violent felonies are committed by black people. So how do we change all this? Here's something that I've always advocated for.
1 minute, make it quick.
There are lots of things that we can advocate for, but blacks overwhelmingly vote for Democrats 90% of the time. Now, Democrats have kept blacks, like I like to say, on the new plantation, where we have fatherless households, we have people on welfare and food stamps, and it's a continual cycle of poverty.
Do you know more whites are on welfare than blacks?
Percentage-wise, black people actually
and
are.
Percentage-wise, more blacks are killed by cops than whites when you talk about percentage and the population numbers.
Again, but again, you're talking about specific incidents, which most of the things that Black Lives Matter have pointed to are actually not, the facts do not bear it out. We're going to find out with Alton Sterling and Philando Castile, unfortunately, that I think, again, that Black Lives Matter once again rushed to judgment, and 5 police officers are dead because of their extreme rhetoric.
So you're really saying Black Lives Matter caused the death of those 5 police officers?
I'm saying Black Lives Matter that are getting enriched by George Soros.
What about one crazy guy in Dallas who pulled a trigger?
I said no. Listen, hey, Micah Johnson, who used to be affiliated with the Black Panthers.
And what about 2 incidents across this country that enraged people?
Okay, but again, what you're going to find is that Alton Sterling, and especially the Alton Sterling, he's got a rap sheet as long as my arm, and Philando Castile, who's the facts of this case are changing.
And so someone's past should...
No, what I'm saying is that unfortunately what goes on is Black Lives Matter, who is being enriched by white liberals like George Soros, who are getting rich by stoking
your time. We're out of time.
Anger.
Keep going. You can keep talking while I'm wrapping up. That's it for Angela Box. We'll be back with more
Black
Isiah Factor Uncensored
in just a moment. Be part of the solution, not the problem.
Troublemaker. And welcome back to the Isiah Factor Uncensored. And now we're going to check weather with Dr. Jen.
The weekend is upon us and the weather is going to remain very hot and humid with a slight chance for some showers. Now looking at the satellite imagery, there's not a whole lot of cloud cover that's been in place over our neck of the woods, but that is going to be changing over the weekend. As the high pressure moves out to the west, we're going to see a little bit more of the moisture coming in from the east, and that'll give us a little better chance for some rain. Now as we look at the rest of the east coast and also out into the Atlantic, as far as hurricane season goes, it's going to be a quiet weekend and probably quiet for some time to come. And a lot of that's thanks to that upper level dust that's been coming in all the way from the Sahara. When you got a lot of dust, there's not a whole lot of shower activity. And yes, that's kind of influenced us as well. Here's a look at the 7-day forecast, and we're looking at highs in the 90s through the weekend. It's going to get even hotter as we move into the coming week with highs in the upper 90s, maybe even close to 100 degrees. That's actual temperatures. Heat index values will be up to around 108 to 110.
All right, now, welcome back to the Isiah Factor Uncensored. Time to talk politics. We have with us Kathleen McKinley on the Republican side, and on the independent side, we have legendary rapper Willie D, who's also a talk show host. We want to thank you guys for joining us on the Isiah Factor Uncensored. Let's get right down to details. Now, Paris attacks, that happened overnight. Is President Obama doing enough to fight terror abroad in other countries? And is Donald Trump's promise to crush ISIS short on specifics? Kathleen, let's begin with you.
Well, Obama hasn't done enough. Terrorism has increased globally since he's become president, and I think that's because of a worldview that sees this as just a very small strain of toxic Islam and not a bigger picture.
That being ISIS.
Right. He sees it as small and toxic. Whereas Bush, saw it as, I think he called it the inheritance of the murderous ideologies of the 20th century. So that's very different worldviews. So he stepped back from that, Obama did, and I think it's worse because of it.
Willie D, is President Obama doing enough to fight terrorism around the world?
I think he's doing a great job fighting terrorism around the world. I think when you look at it, the global impact of terrorism, it's really on the low. When you think about the long list of terrorists that he have identified and the number he's striked off. He's been killing people left and right, and he's been doing as much as he can do without increasing, having this huge influx of civilian casualties. Now, having said that, I'm more concerned about the terrorists that we have right here in our homeland, the police. That's the terrorists that I'm concerned about. Did you know that Americans are 58 times more likely to be killed by the police than they are terrorists? That's what I'm worried about. So I don't know what everybody tripping on the ISIS about. I'm worried about the police. And
would you consider American police terrorists?
I would not. Of course not. But I do think there is a problem, though. We've talked about this. There's absolutely a problem in the black community. I agree with that completely. But most cops are good. There are very bad ones, though, that do bad things. So
most cops that I see on these videos on YouTube are bad.
Yes, they
are.
So
where the good ones at?
And I agree. The rest of them?
Yeah.
Let's go on to the ESPY Awards. That can go on all night.
Okay.
ESPY Awards, real quick. Now, the NBA players were being very political. They were talking about some of the shootings and some of the issues around this country. Is it their place to address those issues? Willie D.
I think so. I mean, these guys have a huge platform. The ESPY Awards is one of the biggest celebrations in sports. It's one of the biggest nights in sports to celebrate. And they had an opportunity to speak to the country about one of the most serious issues that we have going on right now in the country, and that's police brutality. So people were listening. So, I mean, we're talking about police brutality, and we're talking about terrorists. When you think about you think about ISIS, and you think about what's going on with police brutality. Hey, man, I'm more afraid of the police than I am ISIS. I ain't scared of ISIS.
Back on that.
I'm more afraid of the police than
Kathleen,
I am ISIS.
ESPY Awards.
I liked what they said because they did cover it all. It was about police violence on black men, and it was also about black-on-black crime in Chicago. It was also about Orlando shooting. And you know what? If I was a celebrity, I would use my platform too. I wish they would do more to increase responsibility or good values, whatever. I have no problem with it.
All right, Kathleen McKinley, Willie D, want to thank you guys for coming on the Isiah Factor Uncensored. We'll be back with more Isiah Factor Uncensored in just a moment. Stay with us. And welcome back to the Isiah Factor Uncensored. We're here Friday night live at Boudreaux's at 610 near the Galleria. It's time for fun and games. Mitch Guillory, also Carmen Contreras. And you guys have new cups.
Yes,
new cups, new
yes,
teacups.
right here. Baby, we're going to be sipping on that tea tonight.
And what's on the cups?
Isiah Factor Uncensored Live.
IFU Live. That's what it said.
Right.
IFU Live.
Are we?
Hashtag.
Are we?
Yeah. So what do you have, Carmen,
There's
going
a lot
on?
happening. Mick Jagger, 72 years old, from the Rolling Stones, expecting a baby. Okay, the girlfriend, 29 years old,
Damn.
8th child. That was some serious Viagra. That's what you call some serious Viagra, okay?
He says, damn, I say ooh.
Ooh. But think about it. If he was 43, then that means she wasn't even born yet, right?
My only word for this. Ooh.
Hey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Spill tea all over that one.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Okay.
So next, Taylor Swift. Why is she always in the news,
right? Who did she break up with this time?
Nobody, but I tell you what had happened is that Taylor is at the top of Forbes' list of the highest paid celebrities. She
Now, that
raked in
makes sense.
$170 million on that 1989 World Tour. But since we're being a little messy up in here,
please, let's be
that
messy.
DJ ex-boyfriend of hers, Mr. Calvin Harris, he was on the list too. At number 21, way down there at the bottom of the list.
How much?
63 million.
63 million.
63 million.
I'll take it.
Right. And then her frenemy, Katy Perry,
Yes,
right?
yes.
She bumped her off that #1 spot.
Bye, Felicia.
Katy Perry gone, right?
Gone.
But we have to give it up, right? Lil T.
Lil
for
T,
the
Lil T.
world's richest celebrity couple. That would be Beyonce.
Beyonce and Jay-Z.
Yes, they are.
But wait, who run the world, girl?
Beyonce. Queen B is making more money than her husband.
54 million. 54 million.
He's doing 53 and a half.
Yes.
What you gonna do? Okay, next
Poor
week.
people.
Okay, Carmen, let's get it together.
Okay.
We're talking about body shaming.
Okay, because I got some Spanx on right now, but I'm a little mad about this. Hold
Body
up.
shaming. 2015 Playboy Playmate of the Year, Danny Mather had the nerve to go into an LA Fitness and snap a woman in the locker room, butt naked, and then put it on Snapchat to all of her fans.
Why would she do that?
And she
dumb.
She said, "If I can't unsee this, then you can't either." That's the.
Oh, she should be charged.
Well, she might
illegal
be.
photography.
She's losing some money right now.
She lost her radio gig. She also lost her LA Fitness access.
But looking at her picture.
Are you looking at it? Yeah. So, I mean, but she's got a perfect body. Why do you need to shame somebody?
Well, this is
that's pretty
You're
bad.
45 pounds,
Right,
you know, for
right.
right now.
On a good day.
But
Right.
in 2 years, you're probably going to be my size, okay?
Right.
I don't
She
believe
needs
in
to
that
stop.
because we all go to the gym and we've seen the naked people walking around in the gym, you know, especially the older people. I don't sit there and snap.
And this
That's
poor
not
woman,
right.
She may not even know, but LA Fitness has already gone to the police with this, so they're doing their part to stop this before it starts. I'm staying my butt out of the gym. Sorry, I'm just going to stay home.
Yeah. Oh, no, but you know what? She said she doesn't know how to do Snap.
That's
I'm
what she
sorry.
said.
How long has she
She
been
snapped
around?
that one
Okay, whatever.
right.
Okay.
She did that right.
Okay, whatever. I'm just saying. Okay, Steve Harvey.
Hey,
Steve
yes,
Harvey.
Steve.
Congratulations. He's basically the host of everything.
Right.
I mean, is there anything that he doesn't do?
doesn't do. He's
Seriously.
The Isaiah Factor Uncensored.
He's coming though. You see that? And
Okay.
Yeah.
But he
He's
did
coming.
get
We're gonna get it.
inducted
Okay.
into the 2016 Hall of Fame Awards
Radio Hall
for
of Fame.
radio host.
Family Feud, the
10
Steve Harvey
years in
Show,
business, yeah.
Little Big Shots, and then he's up for like an Emmy also. So.
Exactly.
So big ups to Steve Harvey.
He's the man. But I bet he's going to come here and see
We
you.
got about 20 seconds. What else you got?
We love you.
We
Oh,
love you.
that's
You're
it?
the man.
You're the man.
Do I get to keep one?
yeah,
I don't know if I
yeah.
like all the glitter.
You don't-
Maybe you
come
can
on.
get one.
We'll make you a manly one.
Okay,
You want to do a looking cup?
But
Well,
I
that's
like
okay.
it. I like
That's
it.
it for the tea, right? Here we go, Carmen. We did good.
Yeah, we are.
All right.
IFU Live. Thank you, guys. We'll be back with more Isaiah Factor Uncensored in a moment. Stay with us.
Being the first to notice an athlete like spring Simone Biles, the world's #1 gymnast, is a once-in-a-lifetime moment for anyone, maybe 2 lifetimes. Simone's longtime coach is AIMEE Boorman, but before they got together, it was AIMEE's mother, RONNIE BANGHART, a rec coach at the time at Bannon's Gymnastics in Houston, who first realized that Simone could be special, and when she was only 6 years old at the time, 13 years ago. Back then, Simone came to Ronnie's gym on a field trip from a local daycare. Ronnie coached those kids that day.
I had them doing back bends over a barrel, and Simone was at the end of the tramp, and she said, "I don't need that." She said, "I can do it without it." And I said, "Okay, go ahead." And you know, we were on a tumble tramp, so I felt she would be safe. And she ran and she did a round off back handspring, and I literally got chills through my body. I mean, she was this little muscular thing, and I was awestruck, and I got this feeling in my stomach, and I got chills, and I said, "Where do you take gymnastics?" And she said, "I don't take," in Simone fashion, "I don't take gymnastics."
In fact, Simone told Ronnie that her brother taught her a few things in their backyard.
And at that moment, I asked someone to come over and watch the class, and I went back, and AIMEE was coaching team, and I said, "AIMEE, you need to come and see this little girl that I have in class." And Amy's like, I'm coaching, Mom. I don't have time now. And I said, I know, I understand you're busy, but honestly, you really need to come and see this little girl. She is amazing.
Amy recalls what she probably said at the time.
Mom, I'm busy, and I was probably a little annoyed. I mean, it was 12 years ago, but I was like, why are you interrupting me? And apparently there was a reason to be interrupted.
At that moment, when I saw her, I knew in my heart, in my being, that Simone was special and she was going to be great. I didn't realize how great she was going to be.
I'm really glad I listened to my mom.
Amy is thrilled that she shares this incredible moment, the discovery of Simone Biles, with her mother.
No, it was fantastic that it was my mother, and I know that part of her is like, I told you so, you know, in the back of her mind, because I will say that I didn't, there was a moment that I was listening to her as my mom and not as a professional, because she was just coaching the day camp that came in. And so she was right. You know, and you were right, Mom. So she'll be able to carry that as a badge of honor for forever.
Mark Berman, Fox 26 Sports.
And welcome back to the Isiah Factor Uncensored. Coming up Monday here in the city of Houston, the Go DJ Awards, the biggest award show in Houston. We have with us Velma Trahan. Also behind me, Super Kurt, DJ High C, right, DJ EXO, and many others. Now, Velma, tell us exactly what we can expect from the Go DJ Awards.
Absolutely. You guys can expect absolute excellence. The Go DJ Awards is Houston's top entertainment and hip-hop award show. We are bringing...
this way.
Okay. Okay.
Right here.
We are bringing Houston, we're putting Houston back on the map. Music, entertainment, business, it's just going to be a great thing. Come out and support.
All right, Kurt, what can we expect also as far as giving back to the community, recognizing people here in the community?
A lot of good presenters. We'll definitely be recognizing the powerhouse in the community, a lot of people in the hip-hop in the community. We're going to have people there from the mayor's office. I believe the governor's going to be there, and a lot of representatives. So I think it'll be a good thing where everybody gets to see each other. You know, good community programs are going to be represented there as well, and everybody come together and have a good time.
Okay, DJ High C, you are always focused on the music. Who can we expect to perform? Who will draw the people to this award show?
Well, I think it's a collective of everybody, you know what I'm saying? But this man right here, EXO, Jane Valentine, City 1000, and you know, we just come to have a good time, you know, and we're trying to bridge the gap, you know, from the entertainment side to the business side. We're just trying to bridge it, and these guys want to meet the business side, and we're just here to have a good time. You know?
DJ EXO, you have one of the hottest songs in Houston right now. Will you be performing that, and how is it to have that success right here in Houston and around the country?
It's a blessing, especially coming from the background I come from. But yeah, I actually should win every award, so I'm excited about that. You know, but yeah, I will be performing, so it's gonna be a good show. Everybody should come out.
Okay. So. And for those who are looking for information, Velma, on how to get involved, how to get tickets, where do they do that?
Go to GoDJAwards.com, GoDJAwards.com. Follow the hashtag on social media, GoDJAwards. Everything is on GoDJ Awards.
Now, Kurt, this is not the first year that you guys have done this. How long have you done it, and are you seeing it grow here in the community?
We've been 3 years in the making. Every year it's gotten bigger and bigger. We've gotten more phone calls, more people want to come forward and do more sponsorships. So we're looking forward to this year. This year we got a lot of sponsors. The phone's ringing every night. So I feel like it's going to have a huge impact. A lot of people are going to come out. You know, people bought tickets early and last minute, so there's still a chance to go to GoDJAwards.com and get tickets. But it'll be a big thing this year.
Last 10 seconds. Yes. Your organization is the Go DJs. Tell me, why did you guys decide to do these awards?
Well, we decided to do the awards because we feel like sometimes Houston artists don't get the platform that they need to get to the next level, and we got a bunch of talent down here, and our job is here is to expose the talent that we have, and we're going to do it with the Go DJ Awards.
All right, DJ High C, DJ EXO, thank you guys for coming on the Isiah Factor Uncensored, and make sure you attend the show Monday, July 18th, right?
That's it.
NRG Stadium.
Yep, red carpet, 6 o'clock p.m. sharp.
Got it. Thanks a lot. That's it for the Isiah Factor Uncensored. We want to thank you for joining us here at our new home at Boudreaux's right on 610. We'll be back after this.
See them all running and watch them disappear. Without love.
That is it for the Isiah Factor Uncensored. We'd like to thank all of you for joining us this week here at our new location, Boudreaux's on 610 in the Galleria area. We'd also like to thank all of our guests for some great dialogue that we saw this evening here on the show, and we need to continue that dialogue on a road to harmony and peace right here in this country. In the meantime, I'd like to thank many of you out there who donated to the Senior Citizens air conditioning drive. We will start giving those air conditionings out next week. Thank you guys. If you want to learn more, IsiahFactor.com.
This newscast brought to you by Carpet Giant.